Welcome to Cowboy Logic, everyone. There goes my hat. With his Cowboy Logic Pernsel.
Pernsel. Cowboy Logic.
Pernsel.
Cowboy Logic.
Pernsel.
Laser.
Laser.
There you go.
Well,
All
that's
right.
a Pernsel with a laser.
That's right.
Well, we're going to talk about that later.
Hey,
on.
I want to start right off. I want to start right off with something, Fadoosh.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, have you all noticed that the only segment of the population that's not killing people is MAGA?
Wow. MAGA's getting killed.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah. It's
kind of strange, isn't it? Because MAGA gets bashed for everything. MAGA's the reason all of this is happening. But MAGA's not killing anybody.
No. MAGA's taking the high road. Meanwhile, you've got people like Don Lemon calling for his fans to go take arms against federal troops. One day before jihadists ambushed two West Virginia National Guardsmen and sadly the young woman, only 20 years old, who volunteered to be there because she was single and she said her other fellow guardsmen should stay home with their families. She was ambushed, shot in the head. Unfortunately, she has succumbed to her injuries. I believe at this point, the other man is in serious condition. But Jasmine Crockett called them Donald Trump's patrols, and apparently they were there to intimidate people, she said, intimidate people of color, and she referred to them as slave patrols, okay? And then you've got Maggie Goodlander, who, guess who her husband is? Jake Sullivan.
Oh,
Jake Sullivan. Jake Sullivan, who was Biden's national security advisor and a big buddy of Obama and Clinton, spoke at an incident recently where she said something like this was going to happen probably in the next few weeks. I mean, you cannot tell me that this is not the chaos that they want. You just can't tell me that. Okay, then you've got these people coming from, like, out of nowhere, and we're going to talk about that with Buzz Patterson later on in the show. People like Barack Obama, people like Ilhan Omar. You have no idea where these people came from. And now the latest, of course, is Mondami, okay? There's a woman named Iniv Avicimer. Avicimer?
That was easy for you to say.
I'm sorry. I'm sure I screwed her name up.
Yeah, but we follow her.
Yep, she's an Israeli influencer. She is absolutely awesome. She gives her take on how she feels Trump took the wind out of the sails of Mondami when he visited the White House.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I see people are confused, but Trump didn't legitimize Mamdani. He actually neutralized him. This is how. Mamdani is a new political power in the American left. Trump understands that. A power that is anti-Zionist, socialist, anti-Semitic, activist-driven. And this power is admired by young liberals, by Muslims, the old new BFFs. And they believe that they are the moral guardians of justice, of human rights. And that's the entire political identity of Mamdani. He sees himself as the oppressed protector. Now, Trump understands the trap. He could have gone after him, escalate the conflict. This is exactly how he will strengthen Mamdani. Because for Mamdani's voters, attacking Mamdani is attacking human rights, is attacking the oppressed. So Trump decided that he's not going to be the villain in Mamdani's script. That's it. So he praised Mamdani's campaign, talked about living in New York under Mamdani, and he stayed completely calm. He did not give Mamdani what Mamdani needed, the white supremacist Republican punchline. And when Mamdani repeated the lie about the genocide in Gaza, Trump didn't react. He didn't take that bait. I didn't like it either. But that's the tactic. You don't give them drama. And now for the genius part. If New York succeeds, Mamdani will owe his success to Trump, the so-called fascist. And if New York will collapse, Mamdani will not be able to claim sabotage. He will not be able to blame Republicans. And he will not be able to use this victimhood narrative that the left survives on. You see, Trump took his entire narrative away from him in one meeting. So bottom line, Trump sent Mamdani back to his voters with no conflict. And conflict is what Mamdani needs to survive. Because the left lives on outrage, on oppression, on moral drama. They need someone to fight in order to survive. And it's so identical to what's happening in Gaza. On October 7th, when Hamas and the Palestinians broke into Israel, they knew they're not going to win, but they knew that Israel will retaliate. And this is how their narrative will survive, by making Israel the oppressors and them the victims. Anyway, Trump just removed the oppressed card from Mamdani's hand. Damn.
You know what I thought?
Mic drop.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking, she's got beautiful hair, by the way. Maybe she can get a job in Pennsylvania, which now has hair discrimination laws.
Yes. Got to make sure you've got hair discrimination laws.
Oh, and Shapiro wants to be president. Okay. I have one more question.
Go ahead and ask away.
Who do you think is going to be the judge in Eric Swalwell's lawsuit against Trump housing director Bill Pulte, who was assigned? What judge was assigned to
I'm
that
going to
case?
guess Boasberg.
Bing, 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 bing.
Am I right?
That was a rough one, wasn't it? Oh, my God. Meanwhile, Swalwell gets obliterated by a woman named Tish Hyman. She's the woman who was thrown out of Gold's Gym in California for complaining that there were men in the women's locker room.
I will not be a governor that tolerates violence against women in our state. Period. That's not going to happen. Now, as it relates to the issue of
men,
trans kids,
men,
particularly in sports,
men,
sure,
in women's spaces, harassing,
yeah,
and you said it wasn't a thing.
Harassing,
14 times
yeah.
you said it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So I need you to show all the women of California that you're going to protect us.
I'm going to protect women. I
Women.
did as a prosecutor. I will protect women. No woman should be harassed.
Are there
in
going to
any
be
law.
men allowed in the women's room anymore? We need to know.
No woman should be harassed in a locker room. That's a crime.
Answer straight. Are there going to be women? Are you against men in the women's locker rooms and sports? That's all you need to answer.
I'm telling you, I
Please.
don't want men harassing you in a women's locker room.
I know.
That should not happen.
It's happening all around America. There are 45 women and there are 45 men in the women's prisons right now, raping them, picking them out like chickens. The trans men are not women, and they're raping women. So I don't care if you're on the Democrat side, the Republican side. We need to be on the women's side, people. It's happening to our girls. It's happening to our women. And I'm here to let everyone know that this is happening. Open your eyes.
I'm
You
telling
want to
you.
be governor? I have millions of people behind me, black people, who they're using our civil rights to push their. If you want to be the governor, you need to do something about it, because I promise you this, I will not be the last to see of Tish Hyman, okay?
I'm
Thank
going to
you.
protect you, sir.
All right, I want to hear that. You're very handsome, by the way. I like your face. The who? There are no trans kids. There are just children. Stop transforming children. No one can make a decision that young. When I was 12, I would have transformed.
The secret behind people with preserved memories after 90 and how to apply what they do in your daily life. I keep saying this. Did you know that Alzheimer's and dementia are not related to aging or genetics? And you believed this for decades, but the game has changed. And here is the part that concerns me the most. No matter how many
It's wrong. It's wrong. It's abuse. Don't trans children. It's abuse. Trans kids. There's no such thing. There's only men and women. Use your brain. Stop with this malarkey.
That was the congressional farter, if you guys remember, Eric Swalwell.
Yeah, well, all I can say is I think he needs to run in California so he gets out of this mortgage fraud charges that he's with. I think he's just
But
in the
Boasberg
CYO
may help him out on all of
Yeah,
this.
of course. This is ridiculous. Totally. By the way, a man won the women's World's Strongest Woman contest. I think they're going to reverse that. But I mean, this is just, it's so insane. It's just
Swalwell
totally
would not
insane.
answer it.
No.
He would not go there.
Nope, he would not.
What a weak,
Yeah, if they
weak,
clean up the voter rolls,
weak
California
individual.
is not blue. California's not blue. They got to clean the voter rolls. By the way, I like your shirt.
Well, thanks. Hey, you guys can get these at the... Go to our website, cowboylogic.us, and then click on the store, and you got all kinds of Cowboy Logic cool stuff, and Christmas is coming up, and we can say it. Merry Christmas.
Makes a great
So
gift.
you guys need to go get some Cowboy Logic swag. Now, there's something else that we would love for you to do, and we're going to give you a little bit of this as we close this segment. I'm getting back into writing and recording and making music. Okay?
It's awesome.
And this past weekend, we dropped a song called Walking for You. It's something I've wanted to write for decades. It's about the responsibility that was placed on me to raise my two boys the right way. It's called Walking for You, and made you cry. Made Jeff McKellop cry.
Every time I hear
If you can make Jeff McKellop cry, it's a good song. Ladies and gentlemen, Walking for You.
Grow strong in the places where my heart learned to stand. Be the husband, the father, I'll be proud of who I am. Son, you were watching, so I stayed true. I was walking for you. I was walking for you. I'm proud watching you. So proud watching you. I was walking for you.
Eric Woolard, everybody. Go find him on YouTube, Eric Woolard. He's been with us for 4 or 5 years now.
He's awesome.
On the show. We love that kid like he's one of our own.
Mm-hmm.
He actually, no, he's not one of our own.
It's kind of like Charlie Kirk. We've watched him grow up, and man, I miss Charlie so much. Every day I miss him. You know what?
I need to laugh. Can we change things around a little bit?
Well, yes, because Scott LeBedo, who many of you know,
There you
especially
go, I laughed.
if you're from New York, he's that wonderful artist that's been at so many of Trump's rallies where he does, an amazing painting in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And, it's
But he
patriotic
speaks New
paintings.
York. And let me tell you something. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah, I did, actually.
He's another Italian.
He's an Italian. He's from New York. And whatever that means, it means I'm doing a lot of editing.
You know, maybe back in 1975, when we didn't have cameras everywhere, somebody that murdered somebody in cold blood, you were innocent until proven guilty. And you had to accumulate evidence to convict that person, and it took a long time. But it's now 2026. There's cameras everywhere. I mean everywhere. And when somebody slaughters somebody in cold blood, and we have it on film, that's the guy. That's him. And we still go through this trials of years and plead insanity. My client is mentally unstable. He's a victim of society. We still doing that? And you wonder why society keeps breaking down and why these people keep doing this. Obviously from the rhetoric you're hearing from certain political parties. But it's the lack of accountability, proper punishment to fit the crime that this continues. This Muslim terrorist that killed that God's woman, National Guards, God bless us all, and the guy who's in critical is probably not going to make it. What are we doing with this guy? I'm tired of hearing all you people that we put the office to take care of this business as you promised. I don't want to hear we're going to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. It'll be federal charges, so the crimes are... You take this guy, you wrap him in pigskin, slit his throat, bury him on the pig farm, and watch how less of that happens in this country. It is an act of war that what this guy did, and we're going to give him a fair trial. And
It took Don about half an hour to edit that one out.
Yeah.
This is epic.
Yeah.
Epic.
Yep, Lebedo lingo.
It should have been Paisan lingo, quite honestly, because we all do that. I hate to say it. But
all right,
he's
listen.
Epic. Absolutely awesome and a wonderful artist.
We got something real special to talk about. We're going to bring our brother Ron Phillips in, our producer extraordinaire.
There he is.
Ronbo. We've been together a long time, bro.
Yeah, it's a great anniversary for us, isn't it? It's a decade now.
Yep.
Believe it or not.
Damn, we've been on that long.
And time flies when you don't have any weekends.
Oh no, you guys were on longer than I've been around. But
oh yeah, we're in
I got to
13
meet
years.
You. Yeah.
Do I date
I got
myself?
To meet you in 2015.
Yeah. Well, we tried to retire. When I moved down to Georgia, I tried to retire. I started in New York City radio December 3rd, 1979. That's like many decades.
That's a long time ago.
It is. And I tried to retire. I'm admitting it. It was right out of college, but, that's when I started. And you just can't retire.
If you figure 10 years, 52 weeks out of the year, we've done over 500 shows together, bro.
Yeah, without a doubt. And now there was a short time period where I wasn't involved in the show, but I missed it every week. I missed it.
And we missed you.
And I missed working with you guys. And then look, when we first got started, I think you guys were on a different digital talk radio station, and I had my own radio station, and we were doing, what was it? I was doing ICRN, if you recall, back in the days, which was the Internet's conservative radio network. And for whatever reason, I got a phone call from Don in 2015 that changed my life. And that's no joke, guys. I love you.
Hopefully for the better.
I still remember that phone call. Yeah, I still remember that phone call. And you guys wanted me to kind of, make a shift with my station, bring you guys on. And did we not bring on like 70 show hosts, if I recall?
It was more than time
we ran
consuming.
2 streams.
Yeah,
it was time consuming, but I loved every minute of it because that was my first foray into political talk. Mm-hmm. And man, I haven't looked back since. I had a great time, and we've had fun.
Yeah, think how much things have changed technically too in the last 10 years. It truly is amazing. And it
because
makes
that
it
was
so
all
much easier.
just audio back in those days.
That's right.
That's when we were doing this. This was all audio.
Because
and
Fiducia always said
finally
that
shifted.
Nobody could pay her enough money to go in front of a camera again. And then we got her in front of a camera.
At least I've gotten away from wearing a dress and doing the hair, so the hat is okay. But I always said, you got to pay me to put on the makeup and put on the dress. But you we're talking 5 years on Rev.
Yeah.
Right? 5.
1 spoonful of honey with cinnamon before bed equals 0 memory collapse. The secret the billion-dollar industry doesn't want you to know. If you struggle with memory lapses, confusion, or brain fog, pay close attention. You need to see this. This could change.
5 years with Real America's Voice. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I remember when you guys started doing video, I needed to be involved. It was everything I could do to go, guys, please, I want to be involved in this. I want to be,
we
a
were
part
begging,
of it.
too.
Thankfully. Thankfully, you allowed me to do it.
Listen, we've got about 4 minutes left in the segment, and I want you to talk to everybody about CowboyLogic.com because it's Christmas time. We're coming up on Christmas time, and this is the perfect place for them to get gifts and
your ornaments.
Yep. So do your spiel, Ron. Talk to everybody about what you got going on.
Well, you guys remember back when, right at the beginning of COVID, everybody was getting laid off from their normal jobs. And, of course, I was one of those. I had a really nice consulting gig for software development out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I got laid off in, I guess it was late 2020, maybe early 2021. And then Misty and I started going, I've been working for myself for so many years. I didn't want to go back to work for the man again. So we just decided to start a company, and we bought our first laser in March of 2021, and we haven't looked back. It's been fantastic. You guys helped us with becoming an affiliate of Romika Designs, which we call Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs now, but we kind of relabeled it to Cowboy Logic Laser and kind of focused on providing services and products that pertain to Cowboy Logic. And man, I couldn't be more happy with the way that the listeners, purchase and all the comments that we get from everything that we send out. We've even had listeners give us fantastic ideas.
TK Talk Show.
That's what I was going to say.
TK
You can take
Talk Show,
ideas.
the drumsticks.
Yep. The drumsticks.
We'll take ideas and we'll build whatever we need to. I mean, we're more or less a custom shop, so we can build almost anything. And people send us stuff all the time that we engrave. You guys have sent us the tumblers
every day. Every day.
And I remember
we
back in
use
COVID.
these.
Yeah, back during the COVID time, we were doing COVID shot glasses. We were doing the COVID. What was it? The happy hour.
Ivermectin happy hour shot glasses.
Ivermectin happy hour glasses.
Shot glasses.
Yeah.
Hey,
and we still sell those. You know what I sold this weekend, by the way?
What?
Another Bart Shively brush set.
Oh,
I'm not even
man.
Captain Sticky Bun.
I miss him.
Captain Sticky Bun's brush set.
And you've moved out of your garage into an actual office, I guess, and storefront.
Well, it's a workshop. That's what Texas. I call it, a workshop. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it got me out of Misty's hair and gave her back the garage. So, I have to say it that way. But yeah, so we're growing, and with all of the support of the listeners for Cowboy Logic, and of course, I have my daily radio show. So we're growing, and we could be.
Well,
happy.
And I know. And I'm not going to divulge a bunch of info on this, but I know that you've got plans for some really cool expansion that you would like to do. And,
yes, sir. Some really cool stuff.
I think that with your loyalty to us and the role you play that is so critically important, so our viewers get to see what at least I consider to be a damn well-produced television show. Maybe our beloved viewers at some point can help and contribute to the growth of your business. We'll figure out a way to maybe have that happen.
We'll figure out a way.
And
in the meantime, go to cowboylogiclaser.com.
Thank you to everybody. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you to Ron. We love you, brother. We love you. Cowboy Logic.
Laser.
Cowboy Logic.
Laser.
Cowboy Logic.
Laser.com,
everybody. And you can get all kinds of cool stuff, Cowboy Logic stuff. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, Don Newman with Cowboy Logic, here to talk to you about Christmas gifts from CowboyLogicLaser.com. We got all kinds of cool stuff. It can be stocking stuffers, extra little bonus gifts for your loved ones. Cowboy Logic Laser Knife. You've seen me use that on the air quite a bit, whittling my Cowboy Logic pencils. I'm thinking about sending Steve Bannon some Cowboy Logic pencils. We got the highball glasses. We got the cocktail glasses. Now I'm gonna try something here, and I don't know how this is gonna go over. I got a little bit of moonshine. We got some friends that make moonshine. I got a little bit in here, but I don't drink, so I don't know what this is gonna do to me. Anyway, before I go, CowboyLogicLaser.com. Here we go, let's try this. Woo! Cowboy Logic Laser. CowboyLogicLaser.com.
No more distractions. No more electric tanks. No more gender confusion. No more climate change worship. We are laser focused on our mission of warfighting.
We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. It's called peace through strength.
You look into the eyes of these young Americans who are giving up the best years of their life in a uniform to serve their nation. They are incredible.
Through our power and might, we will lead the world to peace. Our friends will respect us, our enemies will fear us, and the whole world will admire the unrivaled greatness of the United States military. We will replenish the pride of our armed forces, end the recruitment crisis.
We don't fight because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us.
God bless you. God bless our armed forces. God bless our men and women serving overseas. And God bless the United States of America.
Welcome back, everybody, to Cowboy Logic and strength of the U.S. military. And nobody knows that better than our next brother and guest, who we always have a great time with because he tells us stuff we probably shouldn't know.
And he's put some of that in books that we should know or probably shouldn't know. That would be one Lieutenant Colonel Buzz Patterson. He is a retired U.S. Air Force pilot, graduated Virginia Tech, master's in business administration, and served 20 years in the Air Force, was a senior military advisor to Bill Clinton. He carried the nuclear football, and his big book, well, he's got all of his books are bestsellers, but the biggest one, in my opinion, is his Dereliction of Duty, the eyewitness account of how Bill Clinton compromised America's national security by how many times did he lose the nuclear football codes?
At least twice in my time there, and I know of at least one more. So I left the White House in '98, and he had lost them twice. And then apparently a couple years later, my successor called me and said he did it again. So so at least 3 times, and that's actually, I don't know if you guys remember, General Hugh Shelton was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under Clinton for the last few years. Shelton wrote.
In too many cities, dangerous illegals walk free as police are forced to stand down. Join ICE and help us catch the worst of the worst with bonuses up to $50,000 and generous benefits. Apply now. Join.ice.gov.
Wrote about it in his book. So it's been
so it's no secret now.
No, there's at least 3 times. He did the hat trick.
Unbelievable. Your other
Did
books,
he ever look in a blue dress for those codes?
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you just keep them in a certain spot and that he never lose them? Reckless. Go ahead.
I can't tell you where I think they might have been, but we never know.
Here's see, my cousin also guarded Clinton and Reagan, and actually
he was
pretty much the Secret Service, and he corroborates what you say that. Things were flown around like lamps and things of that nature. But what I really want to, I just have this mental picture all the time is just a wall separating the Clintons in their bedroom and you, because you have to stay like right next to them. And how many years did that happen at the White House? How many years did that go on for?
For 2 years. I lived there for 2 years. Yeah. And that meant, guys, everywhere Bill went, I went. Vacations, Martha's Vineyard, St. Thomas, fundraising in L.A. and Hollywood, all the overseas trips on Air Force One. I was there for 2 years, and I had a bedroom right down the hall, and they didn't sleep together, they didn't like each other, and I document a lot of that in Dereliction of Duty.
It's unbelievable. A ton of other books, too. Reckless Disregard, How Liberal Democrats Undermined Our Military, Endanger Our Soldiers, and Jeopardize Our National Security. War Crimes, The Left's Campaign to Destroy the Military. I mean, just all bestsellers, folks. And you've seen them on all the major news outlets, including Real America's Voice. And you can read him right now at redstate.com. Redstate.com. He puts out a bunch of stuff during the course of the month. And the thing is, this is unbelievable. The whole seditious 6. I mean, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, okay, we got to have you on to talk about this.
Read what you got.
Okay, there. This is basically The Enemy Within. This is from Bad Kitty Unleashed on X, but she, whoever it is, found it also from NBC News that at least 5, maybe all 6 of the seditious 6 were trained by what's called New Politics. New Politics is a purpose-built political talent agency and campaign accelerator that recruits, trains, and develops leaders with service backgrounds to transform our politics. I mean, to me, it's like a political talent search. This could be why people like Mondami come out of nowhere, Ilhan Omar come out of nowhere, Barack Obama come out of nowhere.
Yes, and it's they're all tied. That organization specifically is tied to George Soros, and you're exactly right. When you point to the fact that Barack Obama came out of the same operation, I mean, nobody knew who Barack Obama was. Mm-hmm. And then Soros got behind him with his money, and all of a sudden Barack is the premier Democratic nominee for president. He becomes the president for 2 terms. So it's out there. This organization is is evil. It's the enemy within, what you said, Donna. The enemy within is the perfect description for who these people are. It's a color revolution. The Sedition 6. I have not been as angry as I am now since 9/11. Watching these elected politicians throw our young airmen, sailors, Marines, and Coast Guard under the bus, and soldiers under the bus is unconscionable. And, I know what they've done by putting out that video. They have angered a base of veterans who are sitting at home now going, we're not letting you do this to our guys and girls in uniform. You're not going to do that with our military. And that's why you're seeing such an outrage. And I have kind of leading this effort. I did a video that kind of the White House asked me to do, where I talk about what it means to be in the military and how this thing undermines the very nature and fabric of the military. And, it's what's really tragic, guys, I write about this a lot on X, is that these Democrats have essentially set up our young, whether you're a young airman or a staff sergeant or a young officer, lieutenant or captain, if you now, for some reason, feel emboldened not to follow an order that's legal, you are going to jail. And these Democrats they're not going to be there for you. They're not going to throw you a life preserver. They're not even going to be around. They are setting you up for what basically happened in Washington, D.C. this past week with the young lady getting killed, and National Guard lady being killed. And that's the kind of foment, the kind of violence Democrats are trying to create here. They want a schism between the commander-in-chief, President Trump, and his administration in the military, the men and women in the rank and file of the military. And you know what? We're not going to let them have it. We're not going to do that. The vets are not going to sit back and allow this to happen. And those people, those 6, for sure, Mark Kelly should be sanctioned, and he should be called to the Pentagon, put back on active duty, and lose his rank and lose his pension. Period. In my estimation, he should go to Fort Leavenworth and break big rocks into small rocks, but I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you. What level of accountability do you think we can expect to see?
I have a sneaking suspicion that Pete Hegseth, who I know and is a fantastic guy, by the way, is going to make an example out of one of them. And I happen to believe that the only one he really has leverage on is Mark Kelly, because he's the only one that retired, right? So he, like me, I'm a retired officer. I'm still obligated to follow the guidelines of the UCMJ. So is Senator Kelly, and he didn't. And I think that Hegseth's going to hang him out to dry, and I hope so.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about, you mentioned Soros, but to me, obviously, he's the face of this. And his son, right. And Uma Ahmadin, God knows what the heck she's got. Mrs. Anthony Weiner, Mrs. Hillary Clinton, quite honestly, and now she's Mrs. Alex Soros.
She's moved on to a different Weiner.
Yeah,
she has a horrible guy radar is what she does.
Well, she's a Sharia compliant Muslim is what she is. But here's the thing. Again, this bad kitty Unleashed has said about 2 months before the seditious 6 did their thing, New Politics got a sudden infusion of $20 million. This is why I think we really need USAID to come back. I mean, I know Soros has a ton of money, but a lot of this money being thrown around is coming from our federal government working against us.
100%. And I think you're going to start seeing that more and more come to light. And I think that the American public, guys, I think that there's one of the positive impacts I think we're seeing in the country right now is that the Americans are figuring it out. We're not stupid people by and large. We pay attention. We try to pay attention. Some of us on the conservative side do a lot better job of that than on the liberal side. But I do believe that most Americans are fair, and they think about this stuff, and then they step back and realize, something about this is wrong. And we're not going to go forward with this. And I think that's where we're at with the Sedition 6 and these Democrats.
I hope so.
I think it's a lot of different things, though, too. I think we're going to find out all these assassinations that are happening, these attacks. I mean, even Mike Benz was saying that the golf course shooter was had Department of Defense ties or some sort of government ties. State Department ties. I mean, you
better look at the clock, Donna Fiducia.
We'll come back and talk about this later.
Come back, Donna. I got something to say about that.
Okay, very good. Lieutenant Colonel Buzz Patterson, who carried the nuclear football. We got another segment with him coming up on Cowboy Logic right after this.
You stole first steps, first games, first I love you. Turn family photos into evidence for the crew. Every bedtime story now ends with the cage. Your scalpel cut deep, we bleed rage. If you hear the children crying daddy's name, can you hear the children cry?
Attention law enforcement. You took an oath to protect and serve. To keep your family, your
mommy's name. Turned its back. 1,500 ghosts in the aftermath. They can lock the doors, they can silence the song, but the fire in our hearts.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Cowboy Logic. Still there.
At least Dan Wilson's not still there anymore.
Yep. But we've got guys that need pardons.
Yeah.
President Trump, we need these people pardoned.
Oath keepers and Proud Boys.
But you can pick up Still There. You go to all the places where you can get your music and listen to your music.
Song. Isn't that awesome?
iTunes, awesome. Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify. I don't even know where else it is. It's all over the place. Let's bring in Colonel Patterson again. One of the things that we were talking about just a second ago is the fact that some of these J6ers still haven't been pardoned yet. They were commuted. But we've got veterans and we've got double Purple Heart recipients that have not been pardoned, and they still don't have their benefits.
Yeah, they can't get military benefits.
We've got people that were in combat that received 2 Purple Hearts that still don't have their military benefits, and it's beyond comprehension why this is still happening. Yeah. But that's another story. But I got to mention it because it sucks so much.
Hey, Don, can I just tell you, based on the people that I know in the Pentagon and the White House, that's going to be resolved. They're working on that, and that's going to happen. It'll happen in the next 3 years.
Awesome.
Guarantee you.
Well, unfortunately, though, their lives are ruined because they can't get jobs. That's the bigger picture. They've lost lives, they've lost houses, they've lost relationships.
It needs to be more than resolved, Buzz. There needs to be payback.
Because to a man and woman, these people all totally back Donald Trump, as you can see on our show. I mean, they've still back him 100%. All right, before the break, we got to this Afghan shooter in D.C. yelling Allah Akbar. I remember in New York, they had a guy who yelled Allah Akbar when he jumped out of a van after he ran down a bunch of people on the West Side Highway. And the media said he made a statement when he left the van, when he left the vehicle. He made a statement. Yeah, they made a statement on 9/11, too, before they took down those Twin Towers and Building 7. So let's circle back to Peppermint Patty. Jen Psaki, I mean, they lie with impunity. She actually said everybody's been vetted.
There are, of course, concerns among lawmakers, experts who've tracked this. They're saying previous arrivals of large numbers of refugees from different parts of the world, inevitably there may be a small handful who are eventually deemed a security risk of some kind. What reassurances can you make about the screening process and the attempts to make sure that somebody like that doesn't make his or her way here?
I can absolutely assure you that no one is coming into the United States of America who has not been through a thorough screening and background check process.
Colonel Patterson, was that a lie?
That was 100% bald-faced lie. And I'll tell you, I'll go be a little bit beyond that. I knew some of the C-17 guys that were operating out of Afghanistan that were trying to get people out right there at the end. Kind of reminded me of the Saigon top of the building with the helicopters in Saigon, after the Vietnam War. And these guys were saying, we were just taking hundreds of people on board the airplane. We just wanted to get the hell out of there. We had no idea who was on our jet. We were strapping them down on the floor. We had 300, 400 people in the back of an airplane, which is supposed to hold 200. And we were just strapping them to the floor. So Jen Psaki, 100%, there is no way that is conceivable. We were just trying to get people out of there. It was a panic mode. It was chaos, all because of the way the Biden administration did it. We have no idea who these people are. The large majority. We know who some of them are because some of them were our allies. Some of them did help, did translate, did some great job, some great things for us. But like this guy that shot the guardswoman, he was a CIA asset for the United States over in Afghanistan, and he's been over here for a few years, and he can't even speak English. Yeah. So he wasn't vetted, and I guarantee you there's probably 90% of the others that came in that weren't vetted either. So she's lying. Yeah.
If they're Sharia compliant, their wives aren't even allowed to work, and he's living with some Democrat millionaire donor in Washington State, from what I hear, with his wife and 5 kids on our public dole again. And the thing is, all of these shooters seem to have questionable backgrounds. Even Mike Benz was saying the shooter at the golf course, State Department has been found out. I mean, Charlie Kirk, there's a lot of things swirling around his death that I think are questionable at this point. And it goes back to JFK. I mean, it took us 60, 70 years, whatever the hell it is at this point, to find out that our government, the Russia hoax. The CIA can't operate in this country, so they had to bring it in from the UK, the Five Eyes, and you can make lies up that the mainstream media runs with, like we just saw, to legitimize it so the FBI can spy on our own people. I mean, if we need to bring back the Smith-Mundt Act is what we need to do. Make these people liable for their own lies, personally liable. That's the only thing. And that's another thing Barack Obama got rid of, by the way, the Smith-Mundt Act. All right. Over Thanksgiving weekend, Trump did pause all third world immigration, called for deporting millions of illegals and legal immigrants who hate America. He stopped all funding for South Africa as they're killing the white farmers down there, all with his grandchild sitting on his lap, by the way. And tariffs apparently work. A record $31.4 billion was brought in October alone. People don't realize we had tariffs before we had an income tax, that fateful year, 1913.
Let's go back to Charlie Kirk. I'd like for you to weigh in. We were very close with Charlie, and you know him from some of the conventions that we attended together. What do you know about Charlie Kirk? Because none of this is adding up, Buzz. None of it.
Well, I still, Charlie is a great guy, and he's got a great organization, and his wife, Erica, is a sweetheart, and I'm sure she's going to do a phenomenal job. But again, we're talking about a venue where a shooter was allowed to get on the roof without any eyes on him. I know Charlie had a pretty decent security team. I don't know who it was exactly with him that day. I do know some of the personalities, but I'm not really sure who was there that day. But again, the pre-advanced team of Charlie should have nailed that roof situation down and had people up there. And they didn't. And the same thing happened to Trump and Butler. It's just we are in a different footing in this country right now, guys and girls. We are in a civil war, and it's turned to a hot civil war. It was cold for quite a while. Now it's hot. And things are going to be different from now going forward, no matter. And I'm personally very well aware of this. I still speak in public places, and people don't like me. and that's fine. They don't like my opinions, but I'm much more diligent about where I go and who I go with and what kind of a situation I'm going to be speaking in. And I think you're going to start seeing a lot more conservative pundits and speakers get out there and do the exact same thing. And I think it's, again, I think this is all part of a color, color uprising sponsored by the Democrats, and more so outside agitators, right? So we've got the George Soros, we've got the Antifa, we've got all these other people. We don't need them in our Congress, but we have them in our Congress too. So
that's exactly what I want to get to. One day before this jihadist ambushed the 2 West Virginia National Guardsmen, Jasmine Crockett called them Donald Trump's patrols, the guardsmen this is, there to intimidate and control people of color. She called them slave patrol.
1 spoonful of honey with cinnamon before bed equals 0 memory collapse. The secret the billion-dollar industry doesn't want you to know. If you struggle with memory lapses, confusion, or brain fog, pay close attention. You need to see this. This could change your life the way it changed mine. I'm a woman who broke free from dementia. And no, it wasn't from heavy medications or crossword puzzles. It was the opposite. I got access to a report that was taken offline under industry pressure. It described a Harvard PhD neuroscientist who helped patients with early forgetfulness regain sharp mental focus. The report explained how he did it naturally, using a simple honey-based recipe. All I did was follow the 3 steps he taught. I took this mixture once a day, every night before bed. In 4 weeks, my memory was like an elephant's. I started remembering where I left my keys, names came back easily, I slept deeply again, woke up energized, and even my good mood returned. In my daily life, simple things like finishing a sentence without freezing or remembering what I went into the kitchen for became natural again. And the best part, no drugs, no side effects. You just follow the 3 steps and take the mixture before bed. The secret isn't just honey tea, it's preparing the recipe the right way. The base is honey, but what really matters is the exact order and precise amounts. It isn't complicated. You only need 10 seconds to make it, but you have to do it right for it to work. Since this video can only be a minute long, I can't explain every detail here. That's why I'm releasing the full recipe video for free to anyone who wants to watch. I'll leave a button below so you can access the complete recipe. But you need to act fast. They're doing everything they can to take down my social pages. The same people who paid a major TV network to pull that report have already taken my site down twice. So if the video is still available when you click the button below, watch it to the end and pay attention to every detail. This may be your only chance to access this exclusive information. Give your brain the chance to fight back. Do it for your identity. Do it for your family. But above all, do it for yourself.
And I mean, they weren't even armed. And they're cutting down on the crime there. The local people that aren't millionaires in Congress like what's going on.
Hey, I grew up in Washington, D.C. I went to high school there, went to college in Virginia, and then came back, as you guys know, later to work for President Bill Clinton and lived in Georgetown section of Washington, D.C. So I've known D.C. since the late 70s. And it has become a hellhole, and Trump is trying his damnedest to fix it, and he has. And I've seen the troops on the streets in D.C. They're super professional. They say hi. They're just not trying to cause any problems. They're just trying to be there to help. And I think the Democrats have put them squarely in their sights. I mean, when Alyssa Slotkin says that the National Guard members are going to start shooting innocent American citizens, she said that last week. And guess what? A guy shoots 2 guardsmen. So we have to be careful about our rhetoric in this country, and we're not. And the Democrats are especially to blame for this. It's just,
like we started our show with, find me one MAGA shooter. Find me just one. Okay, that's not the case. All right. Buzz Patterson, Dereliction of Duty, among your other books. Read his stuff on redstate.com and all over X, because you've got some great stuff that you've mentioned.
Very active on X,
Very active
everybody.
on X, folks. Lieutenant Colonel Buzz Patterson, we so appreciate your insight. And again, find him at redstate.com. We'll be back with more Cowboy Logic right after this.
Any way you want, just the way you need.
Barn Party Drummers. Gotta
Hey, at
love
30
them.
frames a second, I bet that looks weird. Hey, we want to welcome you back and thank all of you great Barn Party Drummers that rock so hard every week. If you don't know what we're talking about, Getter, down there on the bottom of the screen, every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes 4 p.m. I mean, they're there on Sunday.
Oh,
sometimes we have to work.
Saturday morning, even Monday morning at 2 a.m.
Barn Party, Getter. The chat there is amazing. You, too, can find a friend in the Barn Party on Getter.
Just like TK and Andy M.
That's right. And if we don't mention...
Dana
is a good buddy of ours that's from the Pacific Northwest.
And he's always
If he's
cold.
missing this, it's because he's rolling a smoke, drinking a brew, or killing a rat.
Or
one of the three.
Putting wood on the fire.
Putting a log on his
the
fire.
Yeah, okay.
All right. We're going to go into some health this segment, these two
while.
segments. Yeah, Dr. X-Ray is going to come in and join us. Doc!
There he is.
It's always a blur when you're on, buddy.
His face has been blurred to protect the
but-
innocent because he's still practicing, folks.
Hey.
This is ridiculous.
Hold on, though. I got breaking news.
What's that?
With my drumsticks. Dr. X-Ray may show his face in the near future. So we are being told.
That would be amazing.
And Ron Phillips told me that, so it's probably true. Doc, before we get into business...
Let me introduce him.
Everybody knows Dr. X-Ray. He's probably done
necessarily.
300 episodes with us.
As soon as I show my face, it'll drive the viewers away.
All right, very
But
quickly.
he's a radiologist and an internist. He is one of our frontline doctors. Let's have that out in the front. But the bottom line is, he's the one who told us years ago, stay away from the vax, stay healthy, and we're going to get into alternate medicine, I guess more natural medicines later on in the show as well. But 24 years in the military, retired Army, Air Force, 20 years at a major teaching hospital. And again, a lot of times he went through a rough patch like we all did during COVID and finally said, screw it, and I would say the hospital said, well, we still need you because there's a shortage of doctors. So hence we have to blur his face because he's still practicing.
All right, Doc, very quickly. You know this because you're one of our personal doctors, and that is that Donna and I have not had even as much as a head cold since November of 2020. So let's see, that's 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 5 years.
Yeah.
We have not been sick once. And I'm saying that as almost a 65-year-old man.
Damn, he's old.
Who... I could get her, guys.
Don't you dare.
I could get her.
Don't you dare.
Yeah. All right. I say that as a almost 65-year-old man because my entire life, I can remember back in college and in my 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, once a year, bronchitis. Once a year, I got technicolor stuff coming out of my sinus cavities.
Yeah. And coughs that last for weeks.
Yeah. And Doc, nothing. And everybody else around us is getting sick, whether they're vaxxed or not vaxxed. So why don't you tell everybody why the hell we don't get sick anymore?
Those are amazing results, and you're on a very strong immune system preventive regimen that includes vitamin D and all of those things that are on your website. You have had better results than most everyone, though. A lot of people are taking all of this, and they still get things now and then, but they're not as severe. They don't last as long. You're obviously exposed to people because you work in the public and you're around people who are sick all the time. Your body is just fighting it off before it gets into your cells and has a chance to start multiplying and spreading through your body and causing what we know as an infection, causing those symptoms of aching and coughing and fever and all of those things.
Yeah.
See, I think I'm safer because I don't think I get sick from horses. I really don't go off the farm anymore. I go food shopping, and that's about it. But,
but
Don
that's a place where you can. But
that's true.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, at my workplace, I got people that are sick around there all the time, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, and
when I first started doing this simple thumb trick to strengthen my memory, my friends laughed. But when they saw how quickly I was able to recall names, details, and stories they all had forgotten, they started doing it too. You've probably heard that as you get older, misplacing your keys, struggling to remember names, and losing your train of thought in conversations is something we've just been told we have to live with, right? But what if that wasn't true? What if a quick daily...
We thank this man for it.
Yeah.
Because he got us going on this.
All right. What I really want to know is, let's look at COVID and the CDC and the NIH and the FDA, all still in a cover-up, in my opinion. Apparently, the heart attack data stopped back in 2019. It's a 148-page study that's pretty much redacted on the mRNA vaccine myocarditis. I mean, our CBD guy, Tim Roberts, is saying, he does insurance, and he's never seen people dying this young in age. The only difference is many of them have, unfortunately, been vaccinated 1, 2, 3, 4, or however many times. And, you know, those actuaries go back hundreds of years and never saw anything like this before.
No, that's correct. Dr. McCullough reported 1,000% increase in myocarditis and endocarditis after the vaccines came out, and that was in data that was published in scientific journals. But the government has been burying that data, and we talked about this back in 2021. They started hiding the data of who was dying, whether they were wearing masks or whether they'd had vaccines, and we knew that the people who wore the masks and had the vaccines were much more likely to die of any of these infections. All-cause mortality in those people is a lot higher, and they're just hiding the data, and they're going to continue to hide the data. And I don't think anybody can do anything about it.
So, I mean, you hear mixed things about RFK Jr. I mean, I think he's doing great work.
Yeah,
but obviously the people around him are still the deep state that are working behind the scenes, behind his back, and obviously lying to him and lying about what's going on, and they're trying to oust him.
Well, they are, and they're also refusing to follow orders. When I read Reagan's biography, that was one of the things that surprised me, was that he would tell, like, the military that he wanted them to do certain things, and those orders would never get passed on. The people would just disobey his orders. And this is happening all over. It's not just that they're trying to oust him; they're trying to keep the gravy train, the money train. There's huge money in all of this, and they're getting tons of it. We showed the data in one of the shows where $350 million had been paid out to the National Cancer Institute and to Fauci's organization, and that was all divided among a few hundred people. And $350 million divided among a few hundred people is a lot of money. That's generational wealth. They don't want to give that up, so they're not going to buck the system.
And it's our tax dollars. Okay, Fauci had a virology journal in August of 2025 that said chloroquine, as in hydroxychloroquine, is a potent inhibitor of SARS coronavirus infections and spread. This is 2005.
Yeah, he wrote that after the SARS epidemic, quote, epidemic, and they had all those SARS cases up in Canada, and they started treating them with chloroquine, and they went away. And that's why we started with hydroxychloroquine when you guys got it. Ivermectin hadn't been as proven at that time, and chloroquine had, and we knew we had the data.
Yeah, I mean, our doctor,
Moderna did the same thing. We talked in one of the shows about how Moderna needed a, quote, Hail Mary because they were going broke and their elite investors were going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. And the vaccine emergency use authorization saved them as a company. In fact, it catapulted them $30 or $40 billion up in the first year. And it turns out that they had been hiding the data since 2017. They knew that the spike protein aggregated in all the organs of the body. It destroyed the organs. That's why they could never get a drug approved. But this thing was so dangerous that it only got approved under the emergency use authorization, and it could only be approved under the EUA since they didn't have an alternative, and they buried the fact that chloroquine and ivermectin and chlorine dioxide and these other things kill those viruses.
We were told to go home and ride it out.
Hey, listen, everybody. You can go to our website, okay? And for the next segment, Ron, I'm going to ask that we go to a different screen. We run the cowboylogic.us/health URL across the top because you guys can pick up our protocol that we use. It's not rocket science. It's not some crazy concoction of stuff. It's stuff that you can buy online. A lot of it you can buy locally. And Dr. X-Ray, I think one reason that we're healthy always is that we just do this every day. Now, we don't do the ivermectin every day, and we'll explain that if you want. But, ladies and gentlemen, this man has kept us healthy for 5 straight years. And if you want it, cowboylogic.us/health. We'll be right back.
With our own personal doctor, Dr. X-Ray, who has helped many, many of you guys out there as well, and it's awesome. Again, he's a former chief of radiology and an internist, still practicing, hence we got to blur out his face there and, keep things safe.
Someday we won't, and that'll be so amazing.
Yes. Okay, but here's the thing. I guess government programs, didn't Reagan say this, is where you have, it'll never die. You will have, infinite life if you're a government program. And that includes Obamacare. I want Dr. X-Ray and everybody to watch. This is Congressman Russ Fulcher, because another economic black hole, Obamacare, may get another 2 years of life.
Affordable Care Act, in my opinion, was never designed to be affordable, and it was never designed to maximize care. It was designed to break the system so that government would need to be a single provider, a single payer. And I think that's played out. We just saw some data last week that healthcare costs has increased over 80% on average just since the Affordable Care Act got put into place.
On average. I mean, here's the thing. Anything they call it, it does the opposite. It's the Unaffordable Care Act. And in my opinion, this is pretty much the latest in every single aspect of our life the government is trying to control. Because socialized anything doesn't work.
Yep.
So, just your comment on that. They're going to kick the can down the road, I think, for another 2 years on this, Dr. X-Ray.
Well, everybody needs to learn to become their own doctor. There's several doctors that are quitting, and I think you've probably seen some of the tweets. Sorry, I won't call them twits on the show. Some of the tweets where people are quitting because the hospitals are just forcing them to prescribe only certain types of medicine for every condition, and they can't use anything natural. They can't use anything that's not brand new. They can't use anything that's not exorbitantly priced. They always have to use the most expensive option for everything. And people just need to learn to be their own doctor. There's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of natural medicines you can use. And I'm learning about all those. I've spent the last year or two learning about all of those. And we were talking about this. I'm adding a new medicine to my regimen. I'm taking away a couple things because I only like taking a certain number of pills every day, even though they're vitamins. And I'm going to add something called monolaurin, MONOLAURIN. You can get it on Amazon. That's where I'm getting mine. I'm getting it from a company called NutriCost because they're inexpensive and they do third-party testing. The bottle says take 2 a day, but you really only need to take 1 a day. And it has very potent antiviral properties. It rips the lipid coating off the virus so that your immune system can attack it easier. So if people are following your regimen and they're still getting colds and sore throats and these things, adding the monolaurin may be what takes that away. And I'm going to be adding that to my regimen next month when I get my shipment.
Doc, we will add that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll add that. I want to make a comment about that URL that you're seeing go across the top.
I've been taking Digesticare for 3.5 years. It's a wonderful product. It has greatly improved my digestive system.
Of the screen. I want to make it very clear that we are interested and we're interested in not making money off of you to help your health. Okay? This right here, this cowboylogic.us/health, it's not a store. It's not us making a commission on anything. It's us listing what Dr. X-Ray has set up for our protocol so that you can then go buy it on your own. So there's no catch to this. We're not interested in making money to keep you healthy. All right? Monolaurin, is that what you said, Doc? Like
yes,
like mononucleosis, mono, and laurin like Bacall. Am I correct?
R-I-N.
Well, it's L-A-U-R-I-N.
Okay.
L-A-U-R-I-N.
Just like you said, if people are going to that Amazon link or picking their own monolaurin if they find one they might like better. And I don't make anything off of all this either.
Here's the thing. We've had Mark Grennan on, who he's not a doctor, but he's big on the chlorine dioxide. And he was a missionary for 40 years in many, many different countries. He did time in prison because he pushed chlorine dioxide, and his 2 twin sons are also still in prison. They got 14 years here in the United States. We're actually trying to get them pardoned because they did the chlorine dioxide just like you can get on Amazon right now. We've bought it on Amazon.
Walmart if you still shop there.
Walmart. But the thing is, this is how much the big pharma, Leviathan is trying to shut everybody down. You can get fenbendazole and ivermectin for pennies on the dollar. And yet
you can, and I use chlorine dioxide. It's a very potent antifungal, antibacterial, and antiviral agent. And we had one of our neighbors got dengue fever. They got bit by one of the dengue mosquitoes, and we gave her some ivermectin and chlorine dioxide, a disease that normally lasts a month. She was completely well in 4 days, and she was amazed by that. So.
And these are things that can be used topically, or you can drink them. The other thing is DMSO. Mm-hmm. Okay, I've had horses, for ages, and we were always told wear plastic gloves, don't ever touch the DMSO. Well, I put it on my horse with melanomas. Not seeing a great improvement because she's pretty far gone. I hate to say it, but and I'm not as diligent as I should be. But I do know that I don't use the plastic gloves anymore, and my fingers aren't as arthritic anymore.
That's why we're not making babies, Donna.
Smells like garlic. You're not supposed to touch it if you think you're going to get pregnant, but that would be the Immaculate Conception at this point. But you can get it at Tractor Supply. You can get it in liquid. You can get it in gel form.
I again get my DMSO. I buy the pharmaceutical grade, and it's not very expensive, and it doesn't have very much of a smell in my mind, and I don't smell or taste garlic or oysters or those things that people report when they buy the non-pharmaceutical grade. And I buy a 16.9 ounce bottle that's only like $21 or $22, and it lasts. Mm-hmm. I bought 4 bottles and they've lasted a year. I'm just getting ready to resupply.
And the chlorine dioxide is very cheap too. All right, so we've got a few minutes left here. What do you say to somebody who's relatively healthy and wants to stay healthy? Like, what regimen of vitamins would you suggest?
I would suggest a methylated multivitamin. And the one I take is called 10X, and it says you should take 3 a day. I just take 1 a day. So a bottle lasts me 3 or 4 months. It's not very expensive. The methylated multivitamins are much more easily absorbed, and they're much easier on your gut than the non-methylated vitamins. And it turns out about 1/3 of Americans have a methylation defect, and they can't metabolize the unmethylated multivitamins. But 1 a day is enough.
And that's just a multi. So that's just a general multivitamin. Do you take? And obviously, you said the monolaurin. Other things. How often? We do the ivermectin once a week.
Hold on. We're taking the vitamin D3.
Yeah.
We're taking quercetin.
I'm not as good.
We're taking chaga mushroom. We're taking NAC. We're taking, what is it? I can't say it.
N-acetyl-L-methylamine.
Yeah.
And I drop the NAC, and I take the quercetin. I've dropped the NAC, and I've dropped a couple of the other antioxidants, and I'm using things that are more specific. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going with the monolaurin. But I take the vitamin D and quercetin. Quercetin is much more than quercetin acts like ivermectin
That's
against
right.
infections, but it also treats the vessels. It stops the roughness inside the vessels that causes the clots and causes the things that cause heart attacks and stuff like that. It really lowers the risk. I'm taking the nicotinamide at night, which controls cholesterol and stuff like that, and then I take DHEA, a small amount of DHEA, because it helps with all the hormones that need dihydroepiandrosterone.
That's easy for you to say.
Well, hey, listen. It ain't broken.
I didn't have that one
I
in my
ain't
mind.
fixing it. I'm sticking with what we do, and we'll try some of this monolaurin stuff and the DMSO.
Well, and the multivitamin, I think, is a good thing. But
if you're going to do DMSO, there's a couple of good books. One's written by a woman. Her first name is Amandha, Amandha.
Look who's calling, everybody. He knows we record the show, and Jeff McKellip is calling. Hold on.
We got 30 seconds.
Jeff, we're recording the show. I got to go, buddy.
All right, later.
All right, Dr. X-Ray, we appreciate you being on here. Ladies and gentlemen.
Binge watch Dr. X-Ray,
Yes.
as you saw right there, on the Cowboy Logic.
We got a new
Rumble
song
channel.
that we're going to drop, and you're going to see a little bit of it. This one is very interesting. Very interesting. And I thank Kelly Meggs for introducing me to this. This is Economic Hitman.
From Jakarta nights to the Amazon rain, I whisper sweet numbers while they feel the change. Take our loans, you'll be just like us. Then the interest compounds and you're crushed to dust. They tell Halliburton the world.
Patriots Relief, your America First CBD company. We are Christian, conservative, and committed to helping you feel your best. Are you tired of chronic pain holding you back? It's time for a change. Experience the remarkable healing properties of CBD, expertly designed to alleviate pain and promote internal balance. Patriots Relief is here for you. Visit our website or call now. Use your promo code to unlock exclusive savings. Patriots Relief, helping you get out of pain and live life to the fullest.
Cameras caught the pipe bombs you ignored that day. Ray Epps on payroll, still walking free. What a play. Grandpa and grandma zip tied on the floor while BLM tore cities, yo, beg for more. Pelosi's laptop lost. The footage stays sealed. Every lie you stack is a blade we wield. You built.
Yo,
The gallows will hang your decree from C to B. Our face breaks free. Can you taste the iron in the air tonight?
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Cowboy Logic. And by that bumper, you know it's J6 time once again here on Cowboy Logic. By the way, that song that we wrote, Still There, has been released. And we've made the commitment that any money that is earned off of that song, we're sending to Stand in the Gap to help J6ers. Help us out, because you can't make lots of money off of making records anymore. It just doesn't happen like it did back in the 70s and the 80s. So
You're going to have to go on the road then.
no, not going to go on the road. But you download it. I think it's 99 cents, and every penny matters because we're going to give it back. Every penny. We've got a J6er that you guys might remember from our trip down to Miami that's going to be joining us. And this gentleman had a lot of impact on us. We never got the chance to interview him while he was in pretrial detention, or obviously couldn't interview him when he was in the BOP. He spent time in the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary, which is not a pretty place to be. Yes. I think he was in there with at least Kenny Harrelson was there. I know that. And it's not a friendly place. But John Nassif, welcome, sir.
Hey, there he is.
To Cowboy Logic.
Thanks for having me.
This is your second Thanksgiving that you're being able to spend at home. The last one, I think you were on probation. Right. Tell us a little bit about what freedom now means to you, that it probably some of the aspects of it were taken for granted 4 years ago.
Well, I'll tell you, until you've had to live through a lockdown where you're not allowed to leave your cell for a week, the electricity is not working, and you have to use a bucket to flush your joint toilet, you haven't lived.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You were in Atlanta. I'm assuming that, were you in any other facilities, or did you just end up going straight to Atlanta?
I self-reported to Atlanta.
Okay.
I lived down in Central Florida. You would have thought that they would have put me someplace close to home, but as they did with so many people, they send you just far enough away to keep your family from being able to visit and stuff. So, yeah.
And we're finding that happen in so many cases.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole punishment angle of this is just so evil in so many different ways. Agreed. That people who haven't been there can't even begin to fathom it. We certainly can't. But just talking to you guys from what we've seen is, it's just almost like everything else we're seeing with the federal government. Everything is got such a cancer at this point, just needs to almost be washed away, and we need to start over again. The prison system is no exception.
Couldn't agree with you more. There's really a very simple fix to it. If we could just go into Article 1, Section 8 and restore the actual meaning of the General Welfare Clause, all of this totalitarian nightmare will go away. The real problem with our whole government started way back in 1933 with FDR threatening to pack the courts, and they changed the meaning of general welfare to just basically mean Congress can do whatever it wants so long as it thinks it's for the general good, and that's not what it meant.
John, when we had the honor of being able to spend some time with you down in Florida a few months ago, you gave about a 4.5-minute, very eloquent, very passionate, and very emotional speech that our beloved viewers got to see the following week. And, you're an Army veteran. I don't know what this has done to your life. I don't know what this did to your career. I don't know what it did to your family. We didn't have that kind of an opportunity to be able to talk. Can you expand a little bit on
Sure.
the devastation that this has caused?
My disassociation from my family started way back when Trayvon Martin case was going on. And it got progressively worse. I have 4 sisters. Currently only one really speaks to me. But the other 3 started a campaign to get not only my nieces and nephews, but also my own children not to talk to me and to, sideline me. That had all transpired prior to the events of January 6th. So by the time January 6th came, I'd already been alienated from my family. So I was uniquely prepared for what happened, simply because I'd already been through a crucible. At the height of this, I was suicidal. I was My children had been my whole life, and when they dropped out of my life, I came real close to ending everything. And spare you all the details, but in the end, my faith in God grew stronger. I was overwhelmed with peace, is the best way that I can describe it to you. So when the events of January 6th happened, and the FBI showed up, my first knee-jerk reaction was fear, and I was getting ready to enact my Armageddon plan, and I was going to go disappear. But then I gave it some more thought, and I've taken an oath to the Constitution on multiple times throughout my life. It's the core centerpiece of who I am, and to put it succinctly, these colors don't run. So I turned around and decided, I knew I was going to go to prison, even though I knew I didn't do anything wrong, just because I knew what the situation was. I knew how bad the cards were stacked against us and stuff like that. I was offered a plea deal 3 times. They were threatening me with 3 years prison at that time. Each time I just told them to go pound sand. I didn't want to be a tool in their, false narrative and everything. And so I was at peace with the decision, because it was my decision, right, to go. I knew I was going to go to prison, so I was at peace with that. And so I think, and I didn't have pre-detention detention like everybody else did. They released me on my own accord after they dragged me in that day. So it was a little different. I was all misdemeanors. I'm thinking that was maybe why, so I didn't have to deal with a lot of the horrors that my brothers and sisters had to deal with at the DC Gulag. I was out preparing for my case as much as I could, since they wouldn't give you any information and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I want to make it clear that when he's talking about the fact that he was only hit with misdemeanors, first of all, misdemeanors should have been a fine, slap on the wrist,
right,
not a potential 3-year prison sentence. And secondly, that means that you did not have any of the 111A or the 111A1B, which are the assault on a federal officer charges. You probably didn't get hit. You didn't get hit with a 1512. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So
if they had found that shirt, I probably would have been.
This is true. The Oath Keeper shirt probably would have changed that.
But you didn't have Legos in your closet
no
either,
Legos.
so you're okay.
So you couldn't get blamed for being the architect of January 6th. But still, ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, we'll get into prison reform a little bit more with John, because he's got some very poignant thoughts on that subject. But, misdemeanors, and you end up going to what was considered a low security prison, but it wasn't treated low. I mean, Atlanta used to be a high security prison, and the technology is still there to be able to implement high.
Every once in a while, something big happens. Something that in hindsight changes everything. And now, in a defining moment for crypto, Trump Media Group and Crypto.com are joining
security tactics into the inmates. So we're going to get a little bit into prison reform, because that's something that somebody in the Trump administration needs to start working on. You're watching Cowboy Logic, cover J6, and we'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. Kelly Meggs. I'm sure you know me at this point if you watch Don and Don at all. But tonight I let the dogs out for the last time and was kind of doing my nightly ritual. I sit outside a lot because I don't like being inside because of the jail cell thing. But I reflected a lot on this past week, and with Charlie Kirk being assassinated and everything that happened with him. Our prayers all go out to him, but we also have a sense of what can we do? What can we do as Americans and as citizens to stand up against this? And what we can do is we can support companies that support us and support what we believe in our country. And Sugar Creek Goods is one of those companies. I just took a shower, like before bed. That's what I do every night. And I thought about this while I was in the shower. I'm like, this is a fantastic product. Not only is it an amazing product, but it's a company that supports our beliefs and in America. So if you want to do something, use your promo code 1776 and make a difference. Buy from an American company that supports Americans and supports what we believe in. Not what the media and everybody else tells you to believe in, but the truth. Use your promo code 1776. And God bless you. And God bless America.
You want to pay J6ers? You're damn right I want to pay J6ers. If you got wronged by the government, then you should be made right. That's America.
Pay him now.
Pay him now. Pay him now.
Let's pay him like maybe $7-8 million at least.
And that will be the first installment.
Well, that's what
the
Arctic
first
Frost
installment.
senators and congressmen wanted to pay themselves, and they didn't do 4 years
Per
in
device.
prison. Yeah, per device. So it adds up to about at least $7 million.
Yeah. Let's get back here with Brother John. John, again, I didn't get the opportunity, Donna and I didn't get the opportunity to do this in the previous segment, but we appreciate the fact more than you'll ever know that you took the oath that never expired. And you did that.
Thank you.
And you made that commitment so that Donna and I and our children could live in a country and understand what it's like to have freedom and liberty. And we're indebted to you for that, sir. Thank you so much. As all of our viewers,
You're most welcome.
our beloved viewers were standing beside you. You didn't know it, but every day that you were locked up in the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary, our viewers were there, and you were never alone, ever.
Yeah.
I was getting letters from across the country,
Yeah.
and it really was amazing.
Yeah, the Patriot Mail Project did some great work, and that's all most people said was those letters. Man, they just meant the world. Totally meant the world.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the fact of prison reform. I mean, give us your take on
You got
this
to live it.
because, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a shock to see that the system seems designed to create criminals. It really blew my mind at the number of people whose rights have been just completely ignored. I was working as a tutor, and as a result, I got a reputation where people, relied on my opinion for things. So people would bring me their cases, and they'd be asking me things and stuff, and I would help them research it. So I got a really intimate look at a lot of these cases, and it was just shocking to see how these people, just like the J6ers, right? The J6ers are just a small look at a much bigger problem. Myself, right? Committed no crime, was pushed into the building by 5 police officers against my will, misdemeanor at best. And I get, sent to prison. But the reason why is because, we all know the reason, underlying reason why. But, they threaten you with massive amounts of time. And most people buckle under that. They don't want to, the fear of going to prison and everything is too much for them. And as a result, they succumb to the pressure. And that's not just true of J6s, it's true of everybody that I met in prison. Now, some people definitely deserve to be in prison, don't get me wrong. My best friend that was in prison would be the first one to tell you that he belonged there. That was his first words to me. I was like, he was telling me he had 30-year stint he's in for, killed a guy during a carjacking. But, he's well aware that he deserves to be there. But he looked at me and just immediately was like, we became fast friends, even though politically, racially, we're on opposite ends of the spectrum, right? And in prison, race is a big deal. Whether it's a big deal to you personally or not, the inmate system is built off of race, So
and they call
I was
that
able to
cars.
break through all those barriers.
They call that cars
you
in
joined
prison,
your
correct?
Own car.
Exactly. Yep.
And the opposite is the military. I mean, you don't see color in the military. And that's where so many Jan
Correct.
Sixers came from. So the whole 180 that you had to do when you went into prison had to be just mind-blowing. And the fact that, Brady violations up the wazoo, they make up stuff to keep you in there. We had no idea until we started working with Jan Sixers what was going on.
Well, my greatest concern going in was the inmates, because you watch TV and the movies and you have a certain perspective of what to expect and everything. But in the end, really, it was the cops, the guards, who really gave me a hard time. I had people ask me for my autograph. I had a couple Mexican guys. I was kind of surprised. They are big Trump fans. They found out why I was in. I was always real cautious about it initially. I'd be like, I'm in here for trespassing on federal property. And everybody immediately knew that, that was code for a January 6er. So people understood that I was in there for just a misdemeanor, and they saw the injustice that was being placed on me, and it made me created a kinship between us, you know what I mean? Where they respected what I was going through and how I was handling it and stuff. There was another J6er, I won't go by names or anything, but when he came in, he's a younger guy, and he was pretty concerned with being there. He was definitely a fish out of water, and you can't be like that in prison, because it opens up the door for predators to come and take advantage of you and stuff like that. So I explained to him, and I'm not sure if I can use bad language, so I'll try and clean it up as much as I can. But I explained to him the rules in prison are pretty straightforward, right? Don't be a lying, backstabbing, thieving, two-faced piece of crap, right?
Thank you.
And respect people's
Don doesn't want to have to edit that out.
I don't want to have to edit it out.
Trust me, the language was way worse than that.
That's exactly what we've been hearing. So we've got a few minutes left. As a reservist, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you your thoughts about the tragedy that happened with the shooting in D.C. And the reservists don't even have guns. And you've got all these politicians saying that, Trump is a fascist and he's sending in everybody because he's sending them to places with people of color and all this stuff. And obviously the rhetoric is pushing people to do what happened. I mean,
join ICE with bonuses up to $50,000 and generous benefits. Join.ice.gov.
It just doesn't seem to
I wonder
stop.
if those same foolish, moronic people say the same thing when the guard is called in after a natural disaster and stuff like that, where they come in to keep, rioters and looters from, taking advantage of the people and stuff like that. Way back in the day, I was here, I live here in Florida, and Hurricane Andrew came through, and I got deployed down there to help provide security and stuff like that. And I was a reservist at the time, not a guardsman. The Guard actually has special training they go through for crowd control and all that kind of stuff. The USAR, the reserves, not necessarily the same. But I volunteered to go down there and everything, got put on a detail. You're allowed to have your weapon, but they didn't allow you to have any ammunition.
That makes sense.
Hold on.
That makes sense.
Hold on. Is there anything more dangerous than carrying a weapon that you can't have ammo for the weapon? Is there anything more dangerous? I mean, it's safer to not carry a weapon.
The bad guy sees this. He thinks you've got a weapon and you're going to shoot back.
Yeah. And it definitely caused some issues. There was reports during that time and stuff where, some citizens tried to take away their M16s and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And there was, altercations.
Well, at least you didn't need to worry about being shot by your own weapon.
God.
I'm just saying.
This is moronic. And yet all these politicians have their own security detail. They're multimillionaires now. They get, God knows where they're getting their money from, probably insider trading. But I didn't say that. I mean...
You did. You just said that.
Yeah, well... No, I didn't.
Yeah,
that was a figment of your imagination.
I forget which crooked politician I heard talking about this, but they were talking about how President Trump put them in harm's way.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we're there for. That's what we signed up for, to stand in the gap. You know what I mean? That's why we're there, to stand between freedom and chaos. That's the whole purpose that, why I re-enlisted, 3 or 4 times, so.
Yeah. Well, John, it's absolutely an honor to finally have you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you guys to go find the show that we did down in Miami where they recorded the national anthem again and a second song. These will be released, and they are going to be very cool. John, we close every show out with the most beautiful national anthem ever sung, that by your brothers that were in C2B. Gentlemen, hats off. Ladies and gentlemen, hands over your hearts. We appreciate the fact that you trust us with 2 hours of your time, ladies and gentlemen. John, we love you like a brother.
Thank
you,
John.
We'll see you guys next week.
God bless.
Thank you, Don and Donna.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.